Have you ever wondered what causes the ground beneath us to shake violently, triggering a natural phenomenon we know as an earthquake? This isn't just a show of Mother Nature's power, but a marvel of geology. And it all starts deep beneath our feet. Imagine the Earth as a cracked eggshell. This shell is divided into several large and small pieces known as tectonic plates. These plates are in constant, albeit slow motion. They slide past each other, collide or pull apart, driven by the intense heat and pressure from the Earth's core. This movement, however, isn't always smooth. Sometimes these plates get stuck at their edges due to friction. But the energy from the moving Earth doesn't just disappear. It builds up at the point where the plates are stuck. Now imagine holding a spring in your hand and compressing it. The more you push, the more energy is stored within the spring. When the force becomes too great, the spring releases all that pent-up energy in a snap. This is essentially what happens during an earthquake. The energy stored at the stuck edges of the tectonic plates is eventually released, causing the ground to shake and tremble. But not all earthquakes are born the same. Tectonic earthquakes, like the one we just described, are the most common. Yet there are other types. Volcanic earthquakes, for instance, occur due to the movement of magma beneath the Earth's surface. Collapse earthquakes are small quakes in underground caverns and mines, while explosion earthquakes result from the explosion of nuclear and chemical devices. So while earthquakes may seem like sudden, random events, they're actually the result of intricate geological processes. Each quake is a testament to the dynamic nature of our planet, a reminder of the constant shifts and changes occurring beneath the surface. So the movements deep within Earth's crust are what initiate these powerful shakes. The Earth, it seems, has a rhythm of its own, a dance of tectonic plates that, when disrupted, leads to the birth of an earthquake. Now that we understand how earthquakes originate, let's delve into some of the most devastating ones in history. Earthquakes have long captured our attention due to their destructive power and unpredictable occurrence. Here we'll focus on three major earthquakes that shook the world, both literally and metaphorically. First, let's travel back to the early 20th century, to San Francisco in 1906. In the early morning hours of April 18th, the city was jolted awake by a violent shaking that lasted less than a minute, but caused extensive destruction. With an estimated magnitude of 7.9, the San Francisco earthquake and the ensuing fires killed approximately 3,000 people and left half the city's population homeless. Fast forward to July 28, 1976, when the city of Tangshan in China was hit by one of the deadliest earthquakes in recorded history. At a staggering magnitude of 7.5, the Tangshan earthquake resulted in an estimated death toll between 240,000 to 700,000 people. The quake was so powerful that it was felt in Beijing more than 100 miles away, and finally we come to the more recent and equally devastating earthquake and tsunami in Japan in 2011. On March 11th, a 9.1 magnitude undersea megathrust earthquake off the Pacific coast of Tohoku triggered powerful tsunami waves that reached heights of up to 40 meters. The disaster caused unprecedented damage, killing over 15,000 people, causing meltdowns at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant and leaving countless homes and lives in ruins. These catastrophic events remind us of the immense power of nature and the vulnerability of human civilizations. Each earthquake serves as a stark reminder of our planet's dynamic nature and the seismic risks many regions face. As we continue our journey through the fascinating world of earthquakes, let's keep these historical events in mind, for they offer valuable lessons in resilience, preparedness, and the never-ending cycle of destruction and reconstruction. One of the most catastrophic events in recent history was the earthquake and subsequent tsunami in Japan, 2011. The day was March 11th, 2011, when an earthquake of magnitude 9 on the Richter scale struck off the northeastern coast of Japan. The earthquake, known as the Great East Japan Earthquake, was one of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded. It was caused by a rupture along the boundary of the Pacific and North American tectonic plates, where the Pacific plate was subducting beneath the North American plate. What made this event even more devastating was the massive tsunami that followed. The earthquake's epicenter was beneath the ocean floor, and the sudden displacement of water triggered waves that reached heights of up to 40 meters. These monstrous waves swept across the northeastern coast of Japan, obliterating towns and cities in their path. The damage and impact were immense. Over 15,000 people lost their lives and thousands more were injured or went missing. The tsunami also initiated a series of meltdowns at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, leading to a nuclear disaster that compounded the tragedy. In the aftermath, the response and recovery efforts were nothing short of heroic. The Japanese government, along with numerous international organizations and volunteers, mobilized to provide relief and aid to those affected. Despite the immense challenges, the resilience and determination of the Japanese people shone through in their efforts to rebuild their lives and their communities. But the recovery is still ongoing. Even today, many areas are still grappling with the long-term effects of the disaster, such as the cleanup of radioactive materials and the rebuilding of infrastructure. The event also led to significant changes in Japan's disaster management policies and its approach to nuclear energy. The 2011 Japanese earthquake and tsunami was a stark reminder of the devastating potential of earthquakes, particularly in regions prone to such natural disasters. It underscored the importance of preparedness, early warning systems, and robust disaster management strategies to mitigate the impact of such events in the future. Certain regions on our planet are more susceptible to earthquakes, but do you know which these areas are? Let's delve into the world's most earthquake-prone zones. The most famous of all is the Pacific Ring of Fire, an area that's home to 75% of the world's volcanoes and 90% of the world's earthquakes. It's a major area in the basin of the Pacific Ocean, lined by numerous tectonic plates. Countries like Japan, the Philippines, and parts of the United States, including California and Alaska, are part of this seismic hotspot. Now let's traverse to the other side of the globe, to the Alpide Belt. This seismic zone extends from Java to Sumatra, through the Himalayas, the Mediterranean, and out into the Atlantic. This zone accounts for about 17% of the world's largest earthquakes, including some of the most destructive in history. But what makes these regions more prone to earthquakes? It's all about the Earth's tectonic plates. These large slabs of the Earth's crust are constantly moving, albeit very slowly. When they collide or slide past each other, the energy that's been building up is released in the form of an earthquake. The Pacific Ring of Fire and the Alpide Belt are both areas where tectonic plates interact intensively. In the Pacific Ring of Fire, several plates are subducting beneath others, leading to frequent and powerful earthquakes. And in the Alpide Belt, the collision between the Eurasian and African plates is causing seismic activity. We also have other significant seismic zones, such as the North Anatolian Fault in Turkey and the New Madrid seismic zone in the United States. These zones too have a history of strong earthquakes due to the tectonic activities occurring beneath the surface. So if you find yourself residing in or traveling to these areas, it's crucial to be aware of the seismic risks. Understanding the likelihood of an earthquake can help in planning and preparing for such unpredictable events. Living in these areas calls for increased awareness and preparedness for potential earthquakes. Understanding earthquakes and the risks associated with them is crucial for our survival and well-being. We've journeyed through the birth of an earthquake, revisited some of the most significant quakes in history, and explored the dangerous zones. It's clear that these natural events, while fascinating from a geological standpoint, can be incredibly destructive. Let's recap some key points. Earthquakes result from the sudden release of energy in the Earth's crust, creating seismic waves that shake the ground. Some of the most potent earthquakes have occurred in regions like Japan, due to it being located on the Pacific Ring of Fire, a major area in the basin of the Pacific Ocean, where many earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. But what can we do to protect ourselves when an earthquake strikes? There are several safety measures that can be taken. If you're indoors when the shaking starts, drop to your hands and knees, cover your head and neck, and if possible, shelter under a sturdy piece of furniture. Stay away from glass, windows, and anything that could fall, such as lighting fixtures or furniture. If you're outdoors, move to a clear area if you can safely do so. Avoid power lines, trees, signs, buildings, and other hazards. Remember to have a disaster preparedness plan and an emergency kit ready. This kit should include first aid supplies, food, water, and other essentials to support you for at least 72 hours. After an earthquake, be aware of potential hazards like aftershocks, landslides, or tsunamis. Staying informed is vital. Keep up to date with local news and weather forecasts, and familiarize yourself with your community's emergency plans. Knowledge and awareness can help you respond effectively and protect yourself and your loved ones when an earthquake strikes. Remember, knowledge and preparedness can make a significant difference during an earthquake. Stay safe and stay informed.